Hey, you guys. There we are. Superstar. We're on. We're maybe we're right on time at 7:00. Hi. That's great. So I don't make it every Monday, but been kind of doing this for a while on Mondays, and we're at. I'm in Squamish today in my daughter's home. The home of my daughter and her husband, Emily and John, and they're twins. They've got 6-year-old twins. They'll be 7 really soon, and Zoe and Roy. And so it's fun to be here and fun to just to share this moment with you guys on Monday. So we'll just chat a little bit and see if we get some folks to join us. I want to here on Facebook Live. I'm going to post the link to our Zoom call. If you'd like to come on Zoom, it would be awesome. So I'll just put it on here. It is 896 4914 4914. There we go. And then 7337. 7337. And let me see the password is pass 68250. 68250. Okay, there you go. So that's the Zoom. So there it is. If you'd like to join us on Zoom and you come to Facebook Live, you can see what the password is there on Facebook Live, and that would be great. So I haven't done a lot to promote this or put it out there, but some of you know, some of you have joined me before. On Monday evenings, we've done a meditation, and I mean this Monday evening meditation Mondays started for us, almost 2 years ago, and it hasn't for me been as much fun when I'm just me talking into a screen. It's like, okay, but it's what it is. And the reason we started Meditation Mondays, almost 2 years ago, was because I was, a few years ago, I was in Indonesia, and for a lot of years I had brought containers of product from Indonesia to my store. I had a store in Calgary, Valley and beyond, and the kind of the last container I brought in a ton of meditation stools and altars and all kinds of things to help people create meditation spaces, which I thought at the time would help people to be more likely to meditate on a daily basis, and I still believe that I still believe that meditating on a daily basis is an important practice, but and we sold a bunch of them. I still have I still have some left, some of the stools and some of the altars, and people still come and get them. But then when I was doing this, when I was doing the selling meditation stools and altars, it became pretty clear to me that a huge majority of people, even people that I knew, weren't meditating, and they had some sort of a concern that they weren't doing it right, or they didn't know how, or they were like, how do you meditate, or even why. In some cases, they weren't sure why they could be meditating, or what was the deal. Hey, Jason, welcome, buddy. You're welcome to join us on YouTube. The YouTube channel is right there if you want to, or not YouTube, but Zoom. If you're up to you. We're going to do a little reading. I decided that tonight, part of the reading would be from the Bhagavad-Gita, the yoga of meditation. We'll just see what the Bhagavad-Gita has to say about meditation. And then we're going to meditate a little bit. And if you have questions or thoughts or comments, you can make them on the Facebook Live. I can see those questions there. And you could come on the Zoom call and make questions, or because the link is there. So up to you guys. So yeah, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, we started doing the meditation in the store. We still had a store then, and 25 or 30 people sometimes would come, and on Monday evenings, and it was a beautiful gathering and a community gathering, and people really enjoyed getting together with each other, and some pretty nice friendships came out of that, and a little group that meditation family kind of group came out of that, and so there's it was neat. And then when the store was no more, we went to my home for a little while, and then we started up in the Scarborough United Church for a while. It was wonderful to be at the church, and then COVID came, and we were back to my house for a little bit, and which we've tried a few times over the last 9 months, and a bit difficult to get people to come out, and understandably, their folks are concerned about their health, and now it's even harder, of course, because there's regulations, and the government saying that we can't. So here we are. Online, we're doing it this way. Hey, so we just got here. Hi, love. I'm glad you're here. So I thought what we do is, why meditate? I mean, my take on it is that the time we spend in stillness or in quiet, lifts us up. We can't see it in a way. It's kind of, I explained it to one of my sponsees earlier. Hi, JR. Hi, honey. We're coming from Squamish. Kathy Lynn. Nice to see you all. So, and you're on the top of the Facebook feed. There is the link to the Zoom call if you'd like to come and join me on Zoom. So up to you. Look at you guys. So my experience with meditation, is that it's kind of, I like to compare it. I compared it to a young fellow that one of my sponsees today. It's like brushing your teeth. You know, every time you brush your teeth, you don't get to see that, you know, that we preserve our teeth, you know, from brushing them. But if you go for a long period of time and decide not to, then you start to see the results of that. And so the same thing with meditation. It's because you sit a couple of times and meditate, you know, you might not feel the amazing benefits of being lifted up, but a regular practice is is amazing. For some of us, if we have been doing a regular practice and then we stop, you know. So Toby, if you on the top of this feed, on the top of the Facebook feed, you should be able to see the comments. And I have put a comment in. Valley and Beyond put a comment in with the link to the Zoom call and the password. So that'll get you there if you'd like to join me here. So that's if you will notice, though, if you're a meditator and you've been meditating for a long time and you stop, excuse me. I shouldn't have eaten those chips just before we sat down. So if you've been a meditator for a long time and you stop, and you have a pretty good awareness, right? You'll notice that things start to slide a bit. You know, it is and clearly when we meditate on a regular basis, it's we're lifted up, and when we stop, we feel it's like our keeping our spiritual house in order, or depositing in our spiritual bank account. Meditation is like building up a balance in our spiritual bank account, in my opinion. Nice to see you all there on that call. Beautiful, Toby. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to read a little bit tonight from the Bhagavad-Gita. There's a chapter in the Gita, in this version, the Bhagavad-Gita by Stephen Mitchell. There's a chapter called The Yoga of Meditation, chapter 6. And so I thought I'd read it. It's not very long, and it kind of goes a little bit into about meditation and what Krishna had to say to Arjuna about meditation, and then we'll meditate. Does that sound okay? And if you have any questions, if you ask them on the Facebook feed, or if you have any thoughts or comments, I see that you're all there kind of chatting with each other, but if you have anything that's related to this, please make the comments and I can see them. I can see you all there. It's fun. Okay, so the yoga meditation from this beautiful book, the Bhagavad-Gita, which was written by Stephen Mitchell. Yoga meditation. He says, he who performs, this is the Lord Krishna said, the Blessed Lord said, he who performs his duty with no concern for results is a true man of yoga, not he who refrains from action, not he who refrains from action. Know that right action itself is renunciation. That right action itself is renunciation, Arjuna. In the yoga of action, you first renounce your own selfish will. For the man who wishes to mature, the yoga of action is the path. For the man already mature, serenity is the path. When a man has become unattached to sense objects or to actions, renouncing his own selfish will, he is a mature he is mature in yoga. There we go. He should lift up the self by the self and not sink into the selfish. For the self is the only friend of the self and its only foe. The self, so he's spelling self, some of it with a small s and some with a large s. And hey, Troy, nice to see you. So this is, we're just reading from the Bhagavad-Gita. The self, small s, is the friend for him who masters himself by the self, large s. But for him who is not self-mastered, the self, the small s, is the cruelest foe. When a man has mastered himself, he is perfectly at ease in cold, in heat, in pleasure or pain, in honor or disgrace. The mature man, and recognize that when the Bhagavad Gita was written, it was written in patriarchal. He talks about man, and he means all of us. Yeah. When a man has mastered himself, he is perfectly at ease in cold, in heat, in pleasure or pain, in honor or in disgrace. The mature man, fulfilled in wisdom, resolute, looks with equal detachment at a lump of dirt, a rock, or a piece of pure gold. He looks impartially at all. Those who love him or hate him, his kinsmen, his enemies, his friends, the good, and also the wicked. The man of yoga should practice concentration, alone, mastering mind and body, free of possessions and desires. Sitting down, having chosen a spot that is neither too high nor too low, that is clean and covered with a grass mat, deerskin, or a cloth. He should concentrate with his whole mind on a single object. If he practices in this way, his mind will soon become pure. Wyona, hi. Thanks for joining us. With torso and head held straight, with posture steady and unmoving, gazing at the top of his nose, not letting his eyes look elsewhere. So this is the Bhagavad Gita's style of meditation. And I followed these instructions. Some I'm not so good at it, but he should sit there calm, fearless, firm in his vow to be chaste. His whole mind controlled, directed, focused, absorbed in me, absorbed in God. Constantly mastering his mind. The man of yoga grows peaceful, attains supreme liberation, and vanishes into my bliss. He who eats too much food or too little is always drowsy, who is always drowsy or restless, will never succeed in the yoga of meditation. For the man who is moderate in food and pleasure, moderate in action, moderate in sleep and waking, yoga destroys all sorrow. With a mind grown clear and peaceful, freed from selfish desires, absorbed in the self alone, he is called the true man of yoga. A lamp shattered from the wind, which does not flicker. To this is compared the true man of yoga, whose mind has vanished in the self, large S. When his mind has become serene by the practice of meditation, he sees the self through the self. So the large S self through the small s self, and rests in the self, the large S self, rejoicing. He knows the infinite joy that is reached by the understanding beyond the senses. Steadfast, he does not fall back from the truth. He knows the infinite joy that is reached by the understanding beyond the senses. Steadfast, he does not fall back from the truth. Attaining this state, he knows that there is no higher attainment. He is rooted there, unshaken, even by the deepest sorrow. This is true yoga, unbinding in the bounds of sorrow. Practice this yoga with determination and with a courageous heart. Practice this yoga with determination and with a courageous heart. Abandoning all desires born of his selfish will. A man should learn to restrain his unruly senses with his mind. Gradually he becomes calm and controls his understanding, focusing on the self, large S. He should think of nothing else, nothing at all. He should think of nothing at all. And that's when I'm sharing, kind of my way of meditating, and that is in letting go of the thoughts. So gradually becomes calm and controls his understanding, focusing on the self. He should think of nothing at all. However often the restless mind may break loose and wander, you rein it in and constantly bring it back to the self, to this relationship with God or consciousness or higher power. When the mind becomes clear and peaceful, he enters absolute joy. His passions are calmed forever. He's utterly absorbed in God. Mastering mind and body, purified from all sin, he easily gains true freedom and finds an infinite joy. Mature in yoga, impartial, everywhere that he looks, he sees himself in all beings, and all beings in himself. The man who sees me in everything and everything within me is not lost to me, nor will ever be lost to him. He who is rooted in oneness realizes that I am in every being. Wherever he goes, he remains in me. When he sees all beings as equal in suffering or in joy, because they are like himself, that man has grown perfect in yoga. Arjuna said, you have taught that the essence of yoga is equilibrium, Krishna. But since the mind is so restless, how can that be achieved? The mind is restless, unsteady, turbulent, wild, stubborn. Truly, it seems to me, as hard to master as the wind. Anybody relate to that? The Blessed Lord said, you are right, Arjuna, the mind is restless and hard to master. But by contrast, practice and detachment, it can be mastered in the end. Yoga is indeed hard for those who lack self-restraint. But if you keep striving earnestly in the right way, you can reach it. Arjuna said, Krishna, what happens to the man who, with faith but no self-control, wanders from the path of yoga before he becomes mature? Hasn't he lost both the here and the hereafter? Doesn't he rootless and insubstantial fade like the cloud in the sky? This is the doubt that troubles me, Krishna. I beg you, please help me, for only you can remove this doubt from my mind. Neither here nor the hereafter, Arjuna, is that man lost. Neither here nor the hereafter, Arjuna, is that man lost. No one who does good work will ever come to an evil end. Reaching the heaven of the righteous, often after uncountable years, that man will be born again to parents who are upright and wealthy. He may even be born to parents who have practiced yoga and are wise. Through a path as fortunate as this, though a path as fortunate as this is more difficult to obtain. When he regains the knowledge acquired in his former life, and from that point on, Arjuna, he strives towards the ultimate goal. There, he says, there he regains the knowledge acquired in his former life. And from that point on, Arjuna, he strives toward the ultimate goal. Unconsciously, he returns to his former practice. Even a man who asks about yoga goes beyond formal religion. Even a man who asks about yoga goes beyond formal religion. Striving with constant effort, cleansing himself of all sin through many lifetimes, at last he gains the ultimate goal. The man of yoga is greater than ascetics or the learned, or those who perform the rituals. Therefore, be a man of yoga, my son. Practice yoga sincerely, with single-minded devotion. Love me with perfect faith. Bring your whole self to me. Well, there you go. It's beautiful reading from the Bhagavad-Gita. You know, I see that Krishna, hopefully you all know the story of the Bhagavad-Gita. Krishna and Arjuna are having a conversation in the middle of a battlefield. And it's a beautiful, and this is a translation, just a gorgeous translation that you could spend, hours in over the years, picking it up and just reading it anywhere to see that the everything points towards this awakening, this one with God, this beyond the mind. I mean, the problem is always the willful mind. The willful mind is telling us stories or wanting us to live in the story. And the willful mind, the ego, says we are all kinds of things. It has, made up this identity for us. And even the idea of being a man or a woman can be let go of. And as we it's just something of this world. And when we were born, when we came into this body, the spirit of us, the consciousness of us, the God speck, if you will, who came into this body, wasn't a man or woman. So we adopted, though, the identity, and we get attached to the identities, of being whatever it is we do. I'm a therapist, or I'm a businessman, or I'm a fireman, or whatever it is, when we think we are those things, or I am black or white or Indian or Aboriginal or I'm gay or straight, or these are all identities, and my ego sometimes will just say no. I'm going to be that. That's who I am, and we stay in that, and becoming aware that we are so much more than that, in the sense that we are, that we are this essence, that we are this consciousness, doesn't take away from who we are in this world. It just that we lose the attachment to that, and we rise above that, and because the attachment to it, the attachment to the world of right and wrong, and good and bad, keep us from having peace. We're so certain that we know, and we have opinions we hold on to so hard, attachments, or I love in the 12-step world where it says that we have no opinions on outside issues, and I think that we can see that, even within the 12-step structure. The central office doesn't make rules or tell us what we can or can't do. It will share their experience, but not the rules. And so it's a beautiful structure that actually vibrates at a very high level. Dr. David Hawkins talked about the 12-step world vibrating at 540, which is unconditional love. And so that's because one of the reasons is because it has no judgment. It has no, everybody's welcome. There's no rules about who can come or who can't come. There's only one, really one path to being a member there, and that's a desire to stop drinking. That's all. And that doesn't really mean that they have to be even an alcoholic to join. So it's very open, and how open can we be? How open can we be? So I know that, time has shared with us that how often we have been wrong in our judgments. So if we can just assume that we don't know, even what's good for us or what's good for others, and we can be free of judgment, free of complaint. And so meditation, I believe, and it, is the way for that. And I have to assume that we wouldn't be together if you weren't looking for a way to live at peace, to live in serenity, to live in freedom. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking. So this is the way. This is a way. And I looked at a lot of ways and didn't find the way until, I recognized that I had to surrender. I just had to say, look, I surrender. I give up. I cannot run the show, because I was always running the show from that one place, which was this place of ego, a place of right or wrong or good or bad, and of judgment. So let's meditate together for a little bit. If you guys would like, we're half an hour in, and normally, would you like to meditate for maybe 15 minutes? Is anybody up to 15 minutes of meditation? Is anybody still here? If you'd like, maybe just say so, and we'll sit for a little bit, and I'll do a little bit of guided, and but mostly we'll sit quietly, and like Krishna said, let's sit as comfortably as we can. Thank you. Yeah, we'll sit as comfortably as we can, and just having our back secure. So we're not having to hold ourselves up. We're sitting. If you have to put some pillows behind you to be comfortable, and your feet on the ground, and we're. He talks in that reading about this when Arjuna asks about the wild mind and the crazy thinking, and what I don't actually engage with the thoughts. I just let them go. So I don't speak sternly to them. I don't, kind of like to me, I see my mind like a restless adolescent, like a look at me adolescent, wanting attention. And so when it comes with thoughts, I just, let them go. I acknowledge them, and I don't ever debate. And if I get caught in the thought, if I get dragged away with an attachment, because that's what happens, even then I don't give myself a hard time. I just let go and come back. Let go and come back, and so no energy, one way or the other. No energy against the thoughts, no energy against myself. Just recognize that this is the path, and that being on the path of surrender means that I even surrender this, and recognize it when I truly surrender into this moment, into this space, into the now, that this is where God is. This is where this peace beyond all understanding is. This is where serenity is. And the more that I spend time here, the more that I'm here in meditation, the more I can be here always. And no matter where I am in the world, I can follow direction from the moment, and can bring that light and that peace into all kinds of situations. So that's the possibility. And so here we are. You close your eyes, and I use the breath often just to bring us into the moment, just to breathe in, breathe out, just to be as comfortable as possible. I mean, the trick is to not have to hold ourselves up. Here we are. Here we are. I'm just going to try this. There we go. My body's straight. Just allow yourself to just be in this space. Be in your body. Recognize that the body is not you. That this is what we travel in. It's our vessel, our transportation. It's our, beautiful, unbelievably exquisite house that we live in. It's our temple. So we're in it. Our feet and our knees and our legs. We live here. We're sending love to every inch of our body. Every cell of our body is full of our love in this moment. Full of light. Just feel the breath, life-giving breath. It's interesting that the attack on mankind that's happening right now is against our life-giving breath. So gratitude for breath, gratitude for lungs, gratitude for this body. Be here. If there are any noises around you in any way, just allow them. I hear the beautiful sounds of my grandchildren down the hall. There's 6, there's 2 of them. It sounds like a freight train sometimes. It's beautiful though, and I just allow it. It's just part of the moment. So wherever you are, it doesn't have to be quiet. It can just be what it is. Just include it. Same if your body has any aches or pains, just include them. Not to be against them, not to say, oh, it's too bad, my back hurts, or to have any energy for or against. Just include it. No energy for or against anything as thoughts come. We let go of all of our beliefs, all of our ideas, all of our concepts, all of our attachments. Just let them go. Just be here now. Just drop in. If thoughts come, they take your attention. Remember, just let it go. No energy, no attachment, no for or against, no right or wrong. It just is. And remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. There we go. My phone rang. Just include it. Here we go. Stay where you are. Regan?
Yeah?
I'm meditating on live. Can I come back to you in a couple minutes?
Yeah, sounds good. Give me a call.
Yeah. Here we go. Isn't that beautiful? Just drop back in. Here we are. Watch how the thoughts come up. Let them go. That's really how we can handle life. We can respond without energy, respond without attachment. Maybe respond with humor as things happen. Without judgment. Just feel the stillness. Expand. So we expand into nothing. There's nothing. So we become nobody. No attachment to any ideas of who we are. Just become nobody. You can go back. You can go back to being somebody later. Just be here in your breath as nobody. No story. No job. No family. No history.
Breathe in, breathe out.
For those of you that just joined us, we're in the middle of meditation. So see if you can find a comfortable space to sit, to close your eyes and drop into the space. There we go. I think we've been hacked a bit. Isn't that great?
A lot of fuck bitches. A lot of fuck some bitches. I want some pussy. I want some pussy.
We have been. Isn't that exciting? Wow. I think that's it for this evening. It's interesting. We were just visited by. I've never had that happen before. By a group of Zoom hackers. Wonderful. We were entertainment for them. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining tonight and for reading of the Bhagavad-Gita and also a short meditation. It was great. Love you. Back in Calgary soon. So, yeah, hope you're all well. Call anytime. Let's, stay in touch. December. Tomorrow is tomorrow's 40 years for me in recovery. Tomorrow's my sobriety birthday, and really 40 plus years of kind of being on the road of we'll call it spiritual search, and yeah, thank you, Kathy. So yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Happy 40. Thank you, JR. Yes. I'm, it doesn't really mean anything. And yet it's kind of, if it means anything, it's an example. If it means anything, it's an example that that we can find this peace if we stick at it. And I have to think that maybe I was a tougher customer. And, bigger ego, bigger story, bigger attachment, then I don't know. But I feel blessed to be where I am today. And never in my life have I been, in this peace that I live in today. So pretty grateful. Thank you guys. And you're all part of it. Really, this last couple of years has been a big part of it. Encouraging. And I appreciate it. Love you so much. Thanks. Sing